Imagine driving through a quiet highway at 2:17 in the morning. No cars, no lights, only endless darkness stretching for miles. Then suddenly, a town appears. Warm streetlights glow in the distance. People walk peacefully along the sidewalks. A small diner is still open. Children laugh near a fountain. Everything looks completely normal. But there is one terrifying problem. This town does not exist. No map has ever shown it. No satellite has ever captured it. No government record has ever mentioned its name. Yet one man claimed he spent an entire night there, and when the sun rose, the town had completely disappeared. This is the unbelievable story of Ash Hollow, the town that was erased overnight. October 14th, 1987. 42-year-old truck driver Michael Carter was transporting machine parts across northern Nevada. It was supposed to be another ordinary delivery. Michael had driven the same highway dozens of times. He knew every gas station, every bridge, every dangerous curve. Around midnight, heavy fog covered the road. Visibility dropped to only a few feet. His radio suddenly filled with loud static. No music, no voices, only strange white noise. He tried changing stations. Nothing. Then, his GPS stopped working. His dashboard clock froze at exactly 2:17 a.m. Michael later said something felt wrong. Not dangerous, just different. After nearly 20 minutes of driving through thick fog, he noticed lights ahead. A welcome sign stood beside the road. It simply read, "Welcome to Ash Hollow. Population 3,126. Michael frowned. He had never heard of Ash Hollow. Still, he was exhausted. He decided to stop. As he entered town, everything looked surprisingly normal. A grocery store, a church, a movie theater, old brick buildings lined the streets. People smiled as they walked past him. Nobody seemed surprised to see a stranger. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. Michael parked beside a small diner called Martha's Kitchen. Inside, warm lights filled the room. Soft country music played from an old jukebox. About 15 customers quietly ate their meals. A waitress greeted him with a smile. "Long drive tonight?" Michael nodded. She poured him a cup of coffee. As he looked around, something strange caught his attention. Nobody had a cell phone. Nobody wore modern clothes. The cars outside looked decades old. It was as if time had stopped, or perhaps time had never moved forward at all. Michael tried asking where he was. The waitress simply smiled. "You've always been here." That answer made no sense, but before he could ask another question, every person inside the diner slowly turned and looked directly at him, without saying a single word. For several long seconds, no one moved. No one blinked. The only sound Michael could hear was the ticking of an old clock hanging above the counter. Tick, tick, tick. Then, without warning, every customer slowly turned back to their meals, as if nothing had happened. Michael looked at the waitress. What was that? She smiled again. The town doesn't like questions. A cold chill ran down his spine. Michael decided he needed to leave immediately. He rushed outside, started his truck, turned the key. Nothing. The engine refused to start. Again, nothing. A man wearing an old sheriff's uniform approached him. "You'll have to stay the night." Michael asked if there was a mechanic nearby. The sheriff quietly replied, "There won't be any roads until morning." His words sounded strange, as though the roads themselves only existed at certain times. The sheriff led Michael to a small hotel across the street. The building looked untouched for decades. The owner handed him a rusty brass key. Room 12. As Michael entered, the room was perfectly clean, but something felt wrong. Every clock inside the room showed exactly 2:17 a.m., even the small alarm clock beside the bed. None of them moved. Time had completely stopped. Unable to sleep, Michael opened a wooden drawer beside the bed. Inside, he found an old newspaper. The date printed on the front page read October 15th, 1962, 25 years earlier. The headline froze him. Ash Hollow cut off from the outside world. He quickly flipped through the pages. Every article talked about people who had suddenly disappeared. Families, children, police officers, entire streets. No explanation. No survivors. Only one sentence appeared again and again. Do not leave after midnight. Michael's heart began racing. If this newspaper was real, then something terrible had happened here, and somehow he had walked straight into it. Just as he placed the newspaper back, 3 slow knocks echoed through the room. Knock, knock, knock. Michael walked carefully toward the door. Who's there? No answer. He slowly opened it. The hallway was empty, completely silent. Then he looked down. A small piece of paper lay on the floor. Only
Michael
4
folded
words
the note
were written on it.
and slipped it into his
Don't
pocket.
trust the
His breathing
sheriff.
became heavier. If he couldn't
To
trust
be
the
continued.
sheriff, then who could he trust? He quietly stepped into the hallway. Every room was dark, except one. At the very end of the corridor, room 17, a faint light glowed beneath the door. Michael knocked gently. The door opened only a few inches. An elderly woman looked at him with frightened eyes. Before Michael could speak, she whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Michael showed her the note. Her face turned pale. "They know you've seen it." She invited him inside. The room was covered with old maps, newspapers, photographs. Every wall was filled with notes connected by red strings. The woman pointed toward a black and white photograph. It showed the town square, filled with smiling people. Then she pointed to one man standing near the fountain. Michael froze. The man in the photograph was the sheriff. The picture had been taken in 1962, yet the sheriff looked exactly the same today, not 1 day older. The old woman finally revealed the truth. On October 15th, 1962, a strange storm surrounded Ash Hollow. No one could leave. The next morning, the entire town disappeared. She looked directly into Michael's eyes. But sometimes, when the fog returns, the town comes back, and anyone who enters becomes part of it forever. Michael suddenly understood. The people outside were not living ordinary lives. They were trapped, repeating the same night again and again. The old woman handed Michael an old compass. When the church bell rings 3 times, Run. Don't look back. Outside, a deep church bell echoed through the silent streets. Dong. Michael ran. Dong. The fog became thicker. The buildings began fading into darkness. People silently watched him from every window. None of them moved. None of them spoke. Only stared. Dong. Michael reached his truck. This time, the engine started instantly. Without thinking, he slammed the accelerator. The road ahead slowly appeared through the fog. Then, everything went black. Michael woke up beside the highway. Morning sunlight filled the sky. His truck stood alone. There was no town, no diner, no hotel. Nothing. Police searched the area for 2 days. They found no roads, no buildings, no evidence that Ash Hollow had ever existed. But one detail could never be explained. Inside Michael's jacket pocket, investigators found a rusty brass hotel key. Attached to it, a small metal tag. It read only 2 words, Room 12. Even today, that key remains locked inside an evidence box. No one knows where it came from, and every few years, drivers still report seeing mysterious lights deep inside the Nevada fog. Some say it's only an illusion. Others believe Ash Hollow is still waiting for its next visitor. The end.